Animation Addicts Podcast with the Rotoscopers, episode 368, Michael. Hee-hee. Welcome to the Animation Addicts Podcast with the Rotoscopers, the number one place to get your animation fix with animation addicts just like you. Each episode, we dive into the wonderful world of animation featuring Disney, DreamWorks, Pixar, and everything in between. From hilarious discussions and movie reviews to interviews with industry insiders, this show's mission is to brighten your day through our love of animation. So hop on your nerdy couch, grab some snacks, and get ready to hang out with your animation besties because it's time to dive into today's episode.
Hey there, Animation Addicts. I'm your host, Morgan Stradling.
And I'm Chelsea Robson.
Hee-hee! Oh! How many Michael Jackson isms can we do right now?
Oh, man.
Go! It's a duel.
I sent you that one meme that it's like, from now on, instead of ha-ha, I will say hee-hee in solidarity with Michael. It's like, this needs to be our thing.
Oh, I love it. I love it so much. Yes, this is a fun one. Michael Jackson, has had quite the history, so we will go all into it. But in the meantime, before we get there, Chelsea, how have you been?
Oh my goodness, this has been quite the year. I'll tell you what. So this is the first time I'm on the podcast in like a while. Mm-hmm. You have done like a couple podcasts without me, which I'm okay with, based on situations, but there's a little sadness in me that comes around that's like, oh,
God, the show must go on.
The show must go on. And that is,
solo episodes, which I'm trying. I've been like, you know what? We'll just do a little solo episode, which I did just recently. I had a bonus episode.
Michael Jackson on me and like getting out of the Jackson 5 and going
this
solo.
This is a little tour. This is a victory tour. No, yeah. So for those who don't know, I had a live stream the other day, completely impromptu. I don't know why I just wanted to do this, but it just said in my mind, go do a live stream. And so I said, okay, I will do. And so I hopped on the live stream and I was 100% expecting to live stream to 0 people because I haven't been on the YouTube channel for quite a long time. We haven't live streamed in quite a long time. And I'm like, that's okay. I just am using this time to get all the wiggles out, to not be so rusty. And I did have a few people join. And as we were just basically talking about box office, that was just the theme that I decided I wanted to talk about. And so if you want to listen to that episode, you can just find it in the podcast feed. You can also go to the live stream section of the YouTube channel and it will appear up there. So life is good. I live in Nashville and I have had lots of things happening over the last several months. So it's been a thing. Yeah. So Morgan and I saw this several weeks ago. And we should have done a car recording. We just didn't have any audio equipment. So
that and the next day was my dad's funeral and I really didn't want to.
Yes, that's true.
So, it's fine. I mean, looking back, you don't remember these things, but it's like, that's what was going on.
Yes, I do remember that now.
No, the thing is with my dad, he had Alzheimer's and for the last several years had been declining pretty quickly. And so it was definitely more of a release after my mom passed about a year and a half ago. Like for him, it just got even harder. And so it wasn't, I mean, you're always going to go through really difficult times when you lose somebody like that. But I don't know. I felt like I've been kind of mourning him for the last year and a half, basically, since my mom passed. So it was just like, it was more of a release when that happened. And so I've been good overall. And
it's a beautiful funeral. It was awesome. So many amazing stories. Chelsea went up there and told some awesome, great moments and memories about her dad. So I love funerals. They always leave me so inspired about the life that somebody lives and has lived, and just realizing, hey, time is short. Get to it. Like do what you want to do and make an impact.
Right.
And don't forget about the things that are really the most important.
Yes. Yes, for sure. And the thing is with my parents, so there's this part of it wasn't planned, but as I'm thinking about it, I have a lot to say because of my dad, because of my family's background of being a family of performers about Michael Jackson and his whole scenario, his whole life. Obviously not on that scale, but
I don't think anyone has been on that scale
right
then or since.
But there was a lot of things that I related to, and were a lot of things that I completely respected the guy for. So with my dad, he had created with my mom a Western dinner theater that I grew up performing at since I was about 4 years old. They put me on stage, but they started it before I was born. And before then, they were a traveling duo and had been on the road for 13 years, performing all over the United States and Canada. And so, like, they had amazing stories. My brother Randy did a really great life sketch and added a lot of that information in there. And it was really nice to be able to see and to see a lot of people that came out for him as well. But yeah, that was probably the big part of my last couple of months. So it's like I moved, I've lots of changes, let's just say, like without adding extra layers of whatever to this episode. There's just been a lot of changes for me.
Well, we're happy to have Chelsea back.
Yay.
I definitely missed you, and I'm happy that you're here. And we're talking about a fun movie.
Yes.
Now, this has nothing to do with animation, but this is one that Chelsea and I saw together, and I have seen it 3 times. So I am very much a fan of Michael, the movie, and the man, the myth, the legend. All right, so before we jump into this episode, let's talk about some basic information to set the stage. So the film is called Michael. It was released April 24th, 2026. It was directed by Antoine Fuqua. It was produced by Graham King, John Braca, and John McClane. Those 2 people, both of those Johns, are actually the purveyors of the estate. And notably stars Jafar Jackson, who is Michael's nephew. It was distributed by Lionsgate Films. The production companies are Lionsgate Films, GK Films, Optimum Productions. And the budget, 155 to 200 million. And it did a box office as of today when we recorded this, 911.9 million. So it already has surpassed it's the greatest like musical biopic of all time.
Wow.
And then the only other biopic that it can achieve and overcome is Oppenheimer. That has 975 million. And it's expected that this absolutely is going to tear through that and make over $1 billion, which is a huge milestone.
Yeah.
Because for this, no one wanted to touch this movie one. It's just there's so much just misinformation about Michael Jackson. And the studios were like, no, even though he's the king of pop, all this, great. We're not gonna do it. And I'm grateful that they did because wow, it was a fun time.
Yeah, and they had so many parts of this. It was you had so many layers to his life. And you're looking at him from basically this is just from his like age of 5 years old up till he was about in the 80s. So like right at Bad when that comes out.
Very early 30s or like he kind of just turned 30 around Bad. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like 25 years, the first 25 years and he's already outpaced everybody, just incredible talent and honestly incredible talent. There was what's funny about going through this movie is that after you do, your phone knows that you just saw Michael and puts you on the Michael algorithm. And then your entire feed just becomes Michael Jackson related and won't stop for many weeks.
Won't stop till you get enough.
Exactly. Nobody ever has enough of Michael Jackson at this point.
No, it never stops.
Yes, it never stops. I still get so much Michael Jackson stuff in my feed. And I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that it knows. It knows that this is what happened.
It knows that I have a fever and the prescription is more Michael.
So there's lots of videos that I've seen now since that I'm just like, wow, he was just so good.
Yeah, in that live stream that I talked about that I had done, I mentioned something. I was thinking about this comment later where I said, well, now I've just seen I've gone down a huge Michael Jackson rabbit hole since seeing this film. And, I'm my level of like not Michael knowledge, maybe I'm like A tier. And I'm like, Morgan, you cannot after, a month of, which I have watched a lot.
Yes, right.
But let's not do the actual Michael Jackson fans disservice. Like, okay,
right.
maybe I'm a B minus C tier, but I'm working really hard. Okay.
I mean, we were all F tier, like up until, because
For sure.
he was around
Yeah.
and we had heard about him, but it's like by the time that we were kind of aware of what Michael Jackson was, he was definitely
the Thriller mega stardom. He was still doing crazy numbers, but it wasn't
right.
It was different. It was at a different level.
Well, and the propaganda had been really, really hard against him during that time. And so the overall view of him was he cray-cray.
Shifting. Yeah. So let's talk about this movie, and then we'll talk about some of these other things that we're like alluding to. Sure. But let's talk about just this movie first. So like you said, this covers the first really, 30 years of his life, 25. It's crazy. I saw a thing that said Michael was performing professionally for 45 years and he died at 50.
Yeah.
And that was really sad to think about. But with Michael Jackson, I mean, really one of the main reasons that he was able to be as iconic, as amazing, as incredible as he is, because he started so young. Now, obviously, this had pros and cons. It affected his voice later on because he he only knew one level, and that was belt very loudly. Even when he got vocal coaches later on, they said, like, we tried to get him to not be at this level, but that's like all he knew. He really didn't have these like fluid dynamic ranges that he could do. So anyways, but then obviously losing his childhood, and that was a big theme in this, was that his childhood was kind of taken away from him because he was just on the road and he was performing. And so we get a glimpse of Michael, and obviously people are complaining, or not actually, like a lot of people aren't complaining, but you do hear like, the naysayers who say, well, this isn't a true representation of Michael's life. It's like, well, this isn't a documentary. This is a film. And as with all films, all adaptations of it, whether it's a book or somebody's life, liberties have to be taken. Yeah. So, they do that, and there's characters that are changed or shifted. I mean, there's certain members of his family who didn't want to be in it. So that's why we don't see Paula. His other sister isn't in it. So we really only see LaToya. Randy didn't want to be in it. So he's not existent. So Randy actually became part of like the Jacksons. He's younger than Michael, but according to this movie, you wouldn't have known. So like a lot of little things like that. They filmed a lot more. Initially, when this was conceived, this movie was supposed to start with the raiding of Neverland Ranch. And it was going to go into this. And it wasn't going to be a 2-part film. And we were going to see his life throughout this. And then there's 2 main things that happened. They filmed a bunch of scenes in Studio 54. Diana Ross had a big part. And after these this was all filmed, Diana Ross said, absolutely, you're not allowed to show me in this film in any way, shape, or form. There's some allegations, she was 15 years older than him, and he had kind of a crush on her. Who knows? Like, he really idolized her, right? And we're not going to get into that. But and then on the flip side, the estate realized there was a clause in one of the first accuser's the deal that they had made, which we could do a whole episode on that sham, but that it couldn't be mentioned in a movie. And so that kind of really throws a wrench in things, because that's such a big part of Michael Jackson's life, and was a big part of this film initially. And so they rework it. And, I think it's fine. They stop at Bad Era, 1988. We see the final performance of Bad. The final performance we see is of Bad, I should say. And it's before things get all muddied and mucked up. There were always problems, obviously, family relations and whatnot. It's not all rosy and perfect all the time, but you get to see this part at least, like his rise to stardom before very disinterested parties with ulterior motives get involved. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he was one thing that they tried to do is, as far as like the hero's journey or whatever, they're trying to make his dad the overall bad guy, which, is debatable. I mean, family relationships they're layers. There's lots of layers. Yeah. And so who knows the real story? The only people who know the real story are those that were actually there. And I guess, but even then, everybody has just a point of view. So I don't know is all I'm saying. I have no idea what his actual relationship was, other than what was said about it
Mhm.
later on. And but that being said, according to all of the sources, Michael Jackson included, his dad was not a great guy. So, like, okay,
I have like all these little tidbits and information that I want to
I
share, but I'm
know.
like, stay on topic, Morgan. This isn't just a random Michael Jackson
Michael
trivia
Jackson,
podcast about,
all the things.
various things that I want to spit in. So I'm doing my
But
best.
but looking at the movie, so I've talked to different people about the movie itself, not
Mhm.
necessarily about his life or anything, but like
Yeah.
how was it as a movie? And there were a lot of people that were like, they give the movie itself a meh, but Michael Jackson an amazing kind of thing. I've seen people say stuff like that, like if you're
Mhm.
looking at as a movie, and when you're looking at the components of a movie, so you have the bad guy or the
Antagonist.
antagonist, and you have the hero's journey, the struggle, the dream, struggle, victory. And I feel like as far as hitting all of like those main points, they did a good job
Mhm.
of making that the main thing. You are I was talking to a friend of mine and she was just like, they give his dad such a hard time, but there wouldn't be a Michael Jackson without him. There wouldn't be a Jackson 5 without him. And it's like, I mean, he's
It's
not
true.
wrong.
It is true.
Yeah. So,
Without the dad just incessantly bringing him to all these clubs and making him do these rehearsals and practice and making them live up to greatness at a very young age, we would not have them.
mhm.
They show like, oh, his 3 records, at 20 he did Off the Wall, and then he did Thriller when he was 24, 25, and then Bad, all before he's 30. And it's like, well, yeah, because he had so much time to
Yeah.
incubate and to perfect everything when he was young. It's kind of like Taylor Swift. Like Taylor Swift got in so early. I
Yeah.
mean, not teenage years, had hits in the teenage years, so that way your runway in your 20s, you can really
Mhm.
go full out.
Yeah. And vocally, he was already there. He had already spent so many hours in the studio.
Mhm.
And I saw one, and once again, this is going off the into the other information. I saw
It's fun.
an interview with one of his producers, and he just made a comment, and I sent it to you, Morgan. But like, he just made a comment. That It was just like, oh yeah, he was just he was just amazing. He would come in, and he knew to if he was gonna say
Mhm.
a P or a a cut or something, he knew to move his head just ever so slightly so it wouldn't go into the thing. And I'm here sitting like, well, yeah, because he's been in the studio for his entire life. This is not just it comes naturally. Like these are
Mhm. Mhm.
very much trained techniques that you only get by doing it. And you only understand by actually going through the process and hearing it back again multiple times and being like, nope, I got to do that better. And just doing it again and again and again. And he was good enough that nowadays one take wonders. He would have just gone in and done anything. But because of the difficulties in recording at the time, we didn't have auto tune. We didn't have all of these things. And so the tape did not lie. He had to go in and do it exactly as you hear it today. So it's like we see and we hear things that we don't really know. Is that really what happened? Is that really true? Or is that a digitized version of this or that?
Right.
And it's like in that era, no, these are all real. Like these are like exactly as you hear it is what happened, which is refreshing and crazy at the same
Yeah.
time.
So what's really cool about this is that the actor who plays Michael Jackson as an adult is his nephew, which is Jermaine's son, Jafar Jackson. And then the guy who plays young Michael is Juliano Valdi, who I just realized, or I discovered watching, yet another reel, that he is a Michael Jackson impersonator child.
Oh,
And he impersonates obviously Michael Jackson, the
yeah.
adult Michael Jackson. So he had to relearn a lot of things and cool things to make sure that he was little Michael, right?
Mhm.
But Jafar Jackson, holy cow, this is his first acting performance ever. Initially, he thought that he wanted to be a professional golfer. He went down that route. In the late 2010s, I think there's like demos of him singing around 2018. I mean, when the Jacksons are your family and your dad is Jermaine, right?
Yeah.
It's in your blood.
Yeah.
And so he had this demo of that he wanted to, get into the music industry, and he kept being turned away because people said, you sound too much like Michael. And he really does. When he
Mhm.
sings, he has this higher register. It's very like Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
And so then that never went anywhere. And then the producers, they had just got off of doing Bohemian Rhapsody, and that was a big success. And so they said, okay, let's go and do another one of these, because the biopic, the musical biopic, and they were, what are we going to do? Who are we going to see? And they, before this was even, they even had a studio attached or anything. They kind of had this lunch with Jafar, or the one of the producers. And at the end of it, he was talking with someone. He was like, was he trying to audition? Was he pretending to be Michael? And Jafar was like, no, I thought we were just having lunch. So he immediately in that moment realized, okay, there's something special here, because he kind of has this essence of Michael naturally.
Uh-huh.
He doesn't dance, and but he sings. But can he be trained? And so then they set him up with the choreographers and said, okay, you have 1 week or two to figure this out, and let's see how it goes. And after 1 week, he was working really hard, but they were just, like, choreographers like, I just don't know if he'll be able to do this. I mean, he doesn't have this natural, like, dancing ability. I don't know. We might have to go somewhere else. And they said, give him 2 more weeks. So 2 more weeks, they went with Jafar. And this was before, like, anything had even been announced. Like, they were just like, we're just testing this guy because maybe he's it. And at the 3-week mark, they said, oh my goodness, he has it. Like, he has the work ethic, and he's putting in, dancing until his toes are bloody. And you can't teach that. And that's what Michael had. And we think this is going to work. And so then they went and they did more of a nationwide search for, they did the casting call for Michael. And he like kind of auditioned, obviously. But I guess at the end of this, he put on, or at some point he put on kind of a 20 minute show for the producers of him dancing and singing and acting. And they kind of realized, wow, like he's ready. They were looking at different Michael Jackson impersonators for the role. But ultimately it just kind of felt flat. There wasn't the soul there, like that only a Jackson had. And there's a really cool clip going online. The digital version's available now. And so the bonus features there's like an hour-long making of documentary. And he was in, they put Jafar in acting school class, right? So he was in this acting class, and he didn't tell anyone his last name, and he just was kind of going undercover because he just wanted to learn some acting. And then they had they made it seem like it was a little seminar, like we're bringing this big Hollywood producer to talk, do a little thing to the class. Yeah. And then in that they announce, hey, just so you know, Jafar Jackson is getting the role. And none of these kids knew that this kid that they'd been in their class was a Jackson, let alone Michael's nephew. And their reactions are amazing. It's so good. Anyway, I'm so blown away by his performance, because you can tell that this was his uncle. This is someone he knew. This was something he knew about. Like, he had a relationship with Michael. Yeah, obviously it's different when you're a child, but enough that he was able to take that and then just go with it. And I think he just blew it out of the water.
Yeah. No, that's for sure. I don't know what his relationship was with Michael, but I would like to assume that there was a love in his heart for him. And so I think, in my assumption, like, that also would bleed through. And I feel like it did. And he just had like a peaceful, like, sweetness about how he portrayed him. And I appreciated seeing that.
Yeah. And, they show that Michael was a child at heart. And there's one moment, we see his house, right? And what's really cool about this is they were able to film in Havenhurst, which is the family property. And initially, the parents, when they moved to California, they bought this property. It was very, very 70s, very old school. This is a little behind the scenes thing. But then there, because Michael knew his dad, and you never knew what was going to happen, I guess, that there were some money troubles in the 70s, and Michael already, had tons of money. He wasn't quite solo yet, but he still had enough money. And so what he ended up doing is that, I'm going to buy the house from you, and I'm going to give mom 25%, you 25%, and me 50%. I guess just in case something happened with the parents, like a divorce down the line. Like, he wanted to give his mom that financial freedom. And then he completely tore the house down and rebuilt it he says in the style of Disneyland, but it's more of like this European, like, Tudor style, very whimsical. And he had the two-story bedroom. That's why you see him walking down those stairs multiple times. But you go in his bedroom, and you see just it's his playhouse. You know, you
Uh-huh.
have all these things on the wall. And there's one moment that really bothers me, and that he has a Robin Hood poster on, but I'm pretty sure it's like the 70s, but not 73. I just looked up. Robin Hood came out in 73, and I don't think it's still like 71, 72. But it really bothered me because I was like, Robin Hood's not out yet.
Oh my gosh. Anachronisms.
Yeah, exactly. Come on, you should know better. But there's all these like
That's funny.
Disney stuffed animals and all these toys.
I wonder if it was the real one that he had.
No, so they recreated the room for his exact bedroom. They recreated it in a studio to give them more freedom because it would have been really tight shooting in there.
Right.
But yeah, they said because the estate and the family was so open that they had access to tons of artifacts and things in the house that just been in storage forever, and they were able to the set designer in the documentary talks about how they were able to really use that to stage the house in Michael's room to make it feel very authentic. And and all his animals are just such a hoot.
Thing is, there was a point in my life where that would absolutely have been me. Like I would have bought every animal and just had them all just walking around outside. And to some extent I did have that growing up. And so I am a fan of that.
Yeah.
I had a horse, he had a giraffe. I mean, they're not the same, but it's nice.
A quadruped.
Yes.
One thing that I don't know, this really bothers me. I saw Sheep Detectives a few weeks ago, and that movie the sheep are one of the main characters. Mm-hmm. And there's not one darn sheep that is real in that movie. It's so frustrating to me. Not even a wide shot in a pasture.
Uh-huh.
Right? It's just why can't we have real animals anymore? It really bothered me. I understand when the talking sheep, the CGI was really great for the most part in that movie, but I was like, come on, can we just have one real sheep somewhere? It really takes me out because I feel like I'm hyper aware of CGI.
Yes.
So Bubbles the monkey, he was a CGI monkey, and I'm sitting here and I'm like,
he was.
Why can't we have a real baby monkey? Like, I'm sure there's some sort of law or PETA or animal rights, but you can treat animals kindly.
They're already there.
They can be in movies. Like, we don't need to pretend that they don't exist.
Yeah.
It's not like we're going to be like locking them in a cage and making them work in the circus. It's, hey, you're enjoying a movie set. You're going to have to walk from point A to point B. I don't know.
It's like, are they readily available or not? I guess is the question.
There's always monkeys readily available. I think
I'm sure you can always get some. You can always bring something in.
Yeah.
One thing that also bothered me is I felt like they did a lot of something on his nose, and I understand they were trying to show that Michael had an issue with his nose and was trying to always get it changed and whatnot, and so multiple surgeries he had, but there were little moments where I was looking at his face and I was like, is something off to you? And I feel like there's a lot of that happens, and it's can't you just get prosthetics? I guess you can always go bigger than smaller.
So you mentioned this to me, and you said there was something with the cheek, right?
Yeah, it was
he didn't. I've been watching the behind the scenes videos because since you mentioned that, I was trying to look out for it, and he didn't really have prosthetics on his cheek. They definitely put him on his chin during certain points. But they did have in that behind the scenes video. There is a really great thing for his nose because Jafar has a normal size nose.
Yeah.
And it's more of a curved nose, slightly. So they put prosthetics on him to build out his nose. Huh. But then on top of that, then they digitally alter the nose to shrink it down. So maybe you're just kind of seeing the artifacts that's throwing you off. I didn't notice that. I thought the nose looked great. There's been a lot of the Michael super fans online, they'll show certain clips of oh my gosh, you can't tell that this isn't even Michael. It's perfect. It's the exact same. And I'm like, no, this doesn't it's
I can tell.
You're it's definitely Jafar dressed as Michael, and it's a good example of Michael, but it's I'm not confused that this is Michael Jackson.
Right.
In some of the tests, they were going to push it even further, the CGI of the whole face, to just totally transform him to Michael. And then they were it just felt weird. It felt like we were really losing some soul. it's okay that he doesn't 100% have every facial feature that Michael
Yeah,
has. Like,
right.
he's an actor. It's okay. So, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, so overall, I really like the characters that, I felt like I really understood the mom, that she was this motherly character. She was a bit submissive, docile. And the dad, he was the antagonist and the big baddie,
Hmm.
creating tension and always looking out for the family as a whole rather
Yes.
than the individual in it. And so that's where the big point of tension happens, where Michael, and I feel like this happens in every group, right?
Yeah.
Where they want to fly free. They want to be their own bird. They want to do their own solo career. And even though Michael had done I think he had 3 or 4 solo albums prior to this under his dad, they didn't have the success of Off the Wall when he left, and really went solo.
Yeah.
They don't mention that because that kind of undermines what they're trying to sell us in the film, right? It doesn't pack as much of a punch narratively.
Hmm.
The brothers were kind of just there, but you see that they're important, and they know that all they have is the Jackson 5 with Michael. So
Yeah. Well, and they've built their lives around, this one thing.
mhm,
And I've seen after the fact, I once again, I wasn't around during these times. So I was like, I'm relearning. And a lot of them did have solo albums and
mhm,
did stuff solo, but they were all doing that as an auxiliary and as a way to pump the whole.
mhm, mhm.
And so I think that everybody had the understanding that, yeah, everybody does solo things. Yeah, you all go out and do your own thing, but the family is still the
Yeah,
family,
yeah.
so it's kind of like
Mhm.
a mob mentality. Like, oh, and I can see that for sure.
Yeah.
As far as the reason why later on when he backs off and says, this is our farewell tour,
Mhm,
and everyone's ticked off. It's like, well, yeah, because none of them had what it took to really lay a foundation
mhm.
for a full solo career,
Yeah.
except for him.
Yeah. I liked seeing the different eras. Some people have mentioned that this is kind of all over the place. It really jumps around. That didn't bother me. It felt kind of a natural extension. We're moving from this year to that year to that year. We're seeing the big moments in his career. We see Off the Wall, then we see Thriller release, then we see the Thriller music video, and we see his impact on MTV and the music video industry, or short films, as Michael likes to refer to them as. And just kind of recreating some of these very, very iconic moments in his career. And then what I really feel like at the end is really where it starts to crescendo, because we get so many full musical sequences back to back. We
Yes.
get the 25th anniversary Motown concert where he does Billie Jean. And we get that
Hmm.
performance nearly in whole. And then later we're getting the Victory Tour thing where they're singing there, and that's he's leaving. And then we also get the grand finale, which is him singing Bad. And I feel like that's where the movie's at its highest.
I agree.
You
Yeah.
want to jump up and down and sing and dance during Bad. You feel like you are a person in the audience sitting there watching this concert.
Yeah, and there's so many times that I've seen videos now of like these screenings where people are jumping up and
I
dancing and like making this a sing along, and I'm like, why can't we go to
was like,
that?
where were my people? Why what was with my theater? No one
Like,
was.
how do we find these people? Like, how do we coordinate?
Hmm, hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah. It's like
W-
our the eternal struggle of seeing these things happen and then not being able to be a part of it is just really a bummer.
We're fighting after the fact. It's like,
Yeah.
dang it, this was my fandom and I didn't know this existed.
Yes.
And I would have fit right in. I know.
Yes. Yes. And it reminds me of like every time that we try to watch Twilight with a new group of people, it's like, or you go watch like all of these different like shows that they're trying to bring back. And I think this is one of those ways that if you're wanting to bring movies back, then you really do have to, like, the sing-alongs are a way to do it. Like, let's find these things and create these cultural moments that
Hmm,
allow people to
hmm,
come in. And I think that whoever is in charge of this theaters, they need to look at those and they need to put out like a, all hands on deck kind of call. Like, this is, if you want to be part of this fandom, and that's the thing, is like people just want to be part of a fandom, whether or not they are a super fan or not. They're like, I want to go to that fun thing.
hmm.
I want to be part of that thing.
Example, my sister sent me something. They're doing kind of a some sort of anniversary of Pride and Prejudice, the 2005 one.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing a Pride and Prejudice night where people are like dressing up and they're going and they're having food or whatnot. And it was at a local theater here. And it already said sold out. And I'm sitting here, and then there's all these people in the comments like, "Oh, I want to go to this. I want to go to this." Like, sorry,
Yeah.
sold out. And I'm just like,
So do it again.
do another theater. Like, see if you can open up another theater right next door. Like some of these theaters, when it's a Wednesday night,
Yeah.
they would rather have a sold out show of guaranteed seats versus, maybe we're gonna have 3 people roll in and watch whatever show they, So it's funny to me, but yeah, more in person, the better, more fandoms, the better, more events, like special events. Special events are hard to do consistently, but you can do them from time to time for big milestones and things. And I think people are willing to show up for those, one that's happening next year is they're re-releasing Star Wars, the original 1977 Star Wars, in the original version.
Oh.
So that has rarely been seen.
Not even with Jabba?
No, yes, the human.
The human Jabba?
Jabba the Hutt. Yes. So like,
whoa.
Obviously, when you're a creator, there's limitations and money and finances and whatnot that limit your vision, right? And so George Lucas is notorious for going in and like changing and switching things up and like, no, this is the version.
Right.
But it's not the version. It's obviously your idealized version, but it's not the version people saw in theaters in 1977. And it has been locked down in, under lock and key in the vault. And Disney finally is like, okay, we're going to release this. So that's coming out next February or something. And I think that's going to do really, really well.
Yeah.
That's just like another example, just like one of these milestone cool things that people want to see on the big screen.
I guess it's also hard to plan something like that because the best kind are the ground up swells. As far as like, hey guys, group of friends, let's all go do this, as opposed to having a top down like, oh my Disney kind of a situation. And
coming from a fandom perspective.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so like being able to go to an event like this, you know it. You know what I'm talking about.
Great cringe. Well, with Michael, there's a natural opportunity to do a sing-along version of this film.
Yes.
And why there is not one, I don't understand why. I mean, they even did one for K-pop Demon Hunters, which wasn't even released in theaters.
Right.
Because they saw, holy cow, there's a market here.
Yeah.
And if they're wanting to climb this billion-dollar hill, why would you not? I mean, sales are still doing over $1 million a day right now. It just got released in Japan, which is going to be great. But hello, it's summer. People are going to the theaters. People are here. They just have a few showings a day of this sing-along version. And people who've seen it before will show back up. Why would you not? It's just interesting to me because then they also rushed it to streaming. And I mentioned this in my live stream, which you can find. I'll include a link in the show notes. But yeah, they rushed it to streaming. They didn't rush it to streaming, but they didn't necessarily push back the streaming. And I'm wondering if maybe those contracts were already established where they kind of had to, but they waited until a week before to announce that it was coming to digital. So maybe there was something happening behind the scenes, but
we are recording this middle of June. This came out a while ago and it is still playing at my local theater.
Yes.
And so and streaming.
My local theater isn't playing Mandalorian and Grogu anymore. My local small theater, but it's still playing, which came out literally a month after Michael, but it is still playing multiple showings a day at Michael.
Yeah. So there's obviously a potential, but I think that you really did have to lean into that and say, no, we are doing a sing along, like, and come do it. Actually, you and I were talking about how I really wish that they would have put in like a full concert of his and just put that in theaters.
So speaking of this, I went to one of the comments talked about this, and the 1988 Bad Tour, there is a concert version of that.
Okay.
Professional cameras, professionally shot. I think you can watch it somewhere on YouTube or whatever, but the estate needs to strike while the iron's hot here.
Yeah.
And release that in 6 months. Or, obviously sometimes these take time to plan, but why would you not do this?
Yeah.
Michael is as hot as ever. Maybe not as hot as like the peak of the 80s, but
yeah,
he has a wave right now.
Yes. It's and the wave came from the movie. So if they that they have the movie done and it's already
it's ending at bad.
Yeah, it ends at bad. Yeah. So why don't they just throw that in there? Because I would have loved like a la Taylor Swift, like I would have loved to have just gone to that concert because there especially you have the Gen Z era that are just like, I didn't even know who Michael Jackson was. Like I had just
Mhm.
heard of, the name, but I didn't
Mhm.
like I've seen several videos of Gen Z listening to Michael Jackson for the first time or watching his movies, his short films for the first time and being like, and there was some comments in there. It's like fish discovers water, you know. I was like, yeah, I mean that's kind of how it is. But I feel like to to really bring in that next generation, you have to have ways for them to experience that. So, like, you have that one. There's a video of one tour where, a la the Super Bowl, where he like pops out of the floor and just stands there for 2 minutes. Like, there's one concert where he does that, and he just pops out and he just stands there for like 3 to 5 minutes and then he does his eye thing and everyone goes nuts again and he stands there for another 3 minutes. Yes.
He understood the stage and showmanship.
He absolutely
Yeah.
understood. And the thing is, like, we just had CMA Fest here in Nashville, and a friend of mine came out, and we went and watched several different shows of different, performers that are on record labels and have a name within the country genre. She and I don't know if anybody would want to go to a concert with me like that because I am very like critical, not critical in
Mhm.
a like I'm trying to find all the negative. It's just more like I'm trying to learn and I'm trying to
Mm.
dissect what is happening and like the different things that you're doing. And there are some performers have really great voices and being able to like musicianship is great, but there's a difference between being a performer and being an entertainer. And
Mhm.
Michael was both. Like
Yeah.
he performed, but he also was entertaining. Like he owned the stage. He knew how to put a show together, and there's a huge difference when you see somebody who knows that and versus the people who just go like get up there and sing something. And it's just a
Mhm.
whole other level of just prowess that I
Yeah.
respect.
Yeah. So I was thinking about different parts of the movie, and they're kind of setting up for the sequel.
Kind of.
Well, there's a big incident with the Pepsi
Right.
accident and the fire, and that's a really pivotal moment because they're introducing the topic of like the painkillers,
Hmm.
which he got addicted to. So they're setting that stage up. The body dysmorphia
Yeah.
is coming. We were seeing that with the nose surgeries and big nose, calling it.
Uh-huh.
His dad kind of planting those seeds, and then I just got to be perfect. I just got to be perfect.
Uh-huh.
And so, we see the first nose surgery, and then in later scenes, we see that he has nose tape again,
Yeah.
implying that he's had another surgery. And yeah, it'll be very interesting to see, oh, and the vitiligo.
Oh yeah.
We see a bit of that. For the most part, we see Michael Jackson in this film. He has his normal skin, his darker skin color.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see that shift. I feel like this kind of reminds me of Wicked Part 1 and Part 2,
Yes.
where the fun is in Wicked Part 1,
Yeah.
or just,
And
the first act of
yeah,
Wicked. And Part 2 is just,
not as fun.
it's not as fun. It's kind of like yada yada through it. But man, if you're doing this for Michael's life, Part 2 is not as fun. It's going to
And
be,
it really depends on who's writing the script for that too, the point of view from that. Because if you're coming from like the conspiracy side and like putting blame on the people who actually who took on the estate, then you're coming at it from a very different point of view than the person who is owning the estate and trying to make the
mhm.
estate look good or the
Yeah,
owners of the estate look good,
which
so.
the estate and his children, except for Paris, are involved
Mhm.
in this as producers. So, I mean, they really wanting to tell Michael's story. And Jafar even said, I really want people to see the humanity in my uncle
Yeah.
and his goodness.
Yeah.
And I think they absolutely captured that. And there were some critics that said, this has gotten on Rotten Tomatoes. And the critics said, well, they really sugarcoated everything. And it's like, well, one, legal reasons, they can't go into what they were planning.
Yeah.
And two, this is just the first half where that's not even what you're implying is not even an issue. So,
Right.
yeah. So I think that it'll be interesting because it's hard. Do you want to tell the Michael Jackson story without all of that and just say, well, this is the second half of his life? and really patch over that as much as you can and tell a rosier.
I don't think you can patch over it.
Can you? I mean, it is so ingrained to him and his
Yeah.
unfortunate demise and death, right?
Yes.
It's just all the lawsuits and which, okay, obviously, in case you haven't figured out, I don't believe any of the accusations.
Yeah, neither do I.
They were all, once he bought the music catalog, the Sony music
Yeah.
catalog and the Beatles, and I mean, he got on the music industry's radar, and I personally believe that they really did not like that and they wanted to take him down. And so a lot of people took advantage of some of these accusations and lawsuits, or there, I can't even go into it. Here's the thing. Like, it would be a whole podcast of me going into it, but
Yeah, it is our
they were
opinion.
very fake. Let's just put it that way. And then the media just ran with the fakeness. So
Yes, propaganda is real.
if you want to learn more about this and kind of, first off, there's a Netflix documentary which is totally trying to ride high on this, and it is total propaganda garbage
Yeah,
by the same people
they cut
who,
things out, and they
yes.
it's disgusting.
Well, there's a documentary on Amazon Prime called Michael Jackson Square One, and that goes into the very first accusations and everything that happened there. So I would check that out. And there's also a Michael Jackson podcast documentary series that really goes into all of this.
As a side note, I just think back to different conversations that you and I have had over time, and like years ago, we were at the polo party, and you were asking me about like do I listen to Michael Jackson because of all of the allegations and everything, and but it was like we at that time like everyone just assumed because there was no pushback on.
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
even though even in courts he came out and there was nothing that he was completely acquitted.
Yeah, exonerated in court of all of the charges, all of the felonies, even the little ticky-tack misdemeanors.
Yeah.
They couldn't find anything. The FBI did a 13-year case on him where they investigated him for 13 years and came up with nothing. You can download the PDF of all the files that show there is nothing there. This is a nothing burger.
Yeah.
And people just capitalized on it to bring him down. And here at the end of the day, he doesn't own the rights to those anymore.
Yeah.
The estate, which are not the greatest actors in his estate right now. There's a lot of shadiness that happened with the estate. Oh, lo and behold, they sold all the music, within a few years. So anyways, let's talk about Michael, the happy movie.
But that's part of like looking at the sequel. It's like,
yeah,
like who's it I feel like this is the only part of his life that could even be close to more on the true side, or less, I guess you could say less tampered with evidence, less tampered with, or perspective is more clean, as opposed to later on when it starts getting into potentialities allegedly of point of views being like, no, I don't want that to come out. I don't want myself to be seen in that light. And people who own the ability to change that, to orchestrate how they look. So I don't know. There's lots of things that is like, okay, I have a hard time even wanting to go to see the second one, because I don't know if you were going to come from the point of view of everybody was completely against a Michael Jackson who had zero faults and also was dealing with all of the people that he called devilish. That
Joe Matola is devilish.
Devilish.
Can you tell I've watched so many clips?
But like that's the thing, is like these people are not going to show those quotes. Like these things that actually happen aren't going to be mentioned in it. So it's harder to think that a true version of actually what happened is going to be in the second version. But I feel like the first one, it was clean enough that everyone was still riding high.
Yeah, you were not on the Animal Farm episode, but power corrupts, and power corrupts absolutely.
It does.
And I feel like what these people in the music industry, we've seen it with Taylor Swift and her getting her albums, buying control of that and everything. Just the artists really don't have a lot of control. And Michael Jackson really was a proponent for the artist, especially the Black artist. So anyways, okay. So I love this movie. Obviously, I've had a grand old time seeing it. So 3 times. I feel like if I could see it again, I would. Like if someone presented the opportunity, like, hey, do you want to go see Michael? I'd say yes. It would not be a no, maybe. It'd be
Or
absolutely.
wow.
When do you want to go? Yeah. Sing along version, absolutely. So
Yes. I would absolutely go to a sing along. So let us know if you hear about them.
well, I
If
certainly will.
no, I know, but internet wise.
Yes. Yes, please tag us. So what would you rate this? Do you have any last thoughts on any scenes or different things?
Last thoughts. I think of an overall experience, I had a great time. I enjoyed it, and it was fun to see. There are a lot of things that I wish could have been part of it. I would almost have rather have just watched the actual videos of different things, but I appreciated the swift of storytelling that it came about. I'm going to say 3.5 stars as a movie, as a good time. 4.5 stars.
All right. Yeah, I just like this movie from start to finish. I like the story that it tells and about a little boy, and it's funny because we don't really ever see it being as a young boy his dream.
Yeah.
It's more the family's dream, and he's just along for the ride and happens to be very, very good at it. But then we quickly see that this is the life that he is, and he has this dream that he wants to be the biggest pop star, best-selling album of all time. And I like to see it. I like to see his work ethic. I like to see his drive. I love hearing the music. These songs are timeless. They really are.
Yeah.
The Off the Wall album is very still kind of like post disco. It's kind of like one of the last disco albums, they say.
Yeah.
But I listen to them in the car, and I'm just loving all the Michael music. So
I've had Human Nature in my head for the last month.
What is it about Human Nature that's so good?
I don't know.
My daughter's favorite song is Human Nature.
I don't understand what it is about it, but it's honestly just in my brain, and I'll wake up in the morning and I'll be just like, it's Human Nature.
Then also on the flip side with Human Nature, the ch-ch. In the live shows, he'd have the drums do the little ch-ch for all his little dance moves to really emphasize them. Yeah. And that's really fun. So, am I giving this a 4.5 stars? I'm going to give it a 4.5 stars. I just really enjoyed it that much to see it that many times. And I don't find it boring. I like the characters. I like the acting. My only negative is the crowd scenes in the CGI take me out of it. They don't look real to me when they're trying to show the big stadiums. They look so fakey. And I mean, it is what it is. But yeah.
It really does show like those crowd scenes, like when he is coming out of this place in New York and he's just having to stand on the car because everyone is just around him. It's just like that world, like the modern mind cannot comprehend that much just
celebrity stardom monolith.
Yes. Yeah. We just can't do it. I mean, even Taylor Swift can go out. Like she can go and do stuff and she doesn't have to stand on a car because everybody is just surrounded her, Yeah. She can go to the Knicks game. She can go to all these different sports games, and people, while she does get lots of attention, it's not the same. Like Michael could not go to anything. He could not go to any event anywhere because it would cause so much of a scene that he had to leave because they would go crazy.
And that's just a feature of the monoculture, I think.
Yeah.
You all listened to the same songs for the most part, and you maybe had little niches here and there, but for the most part, we all kind of consumed the same thing and had the same celebrities and same stars and same songs. And
yeah. And there's pluses and minuses to that. I mean, the minus obviously comes in part 2 when, the monoculture decided that he was, not somebody that you should like, and they had the power to turn everything. Yeah. So, pluses and minuses to monoculture.
Alrighty. Let us know your thoughts about Michael. Go to rotoscopers.com/368. Give us your review there. Our next 2 episodes are going to be a lot of fun. We have already pre-recorded the Masters of the Universe.
Woohoo!
The new film that came out and supposedly is a bomb, but it's based on an animated property and one of Chelsea's favorites. So we've pre-recorded that, and then we'll also be doing Toy Story 5 when that comes out this week when this releases. So send in your voicemails, especially for the Toy Story 5 one. If you see it relatively early, Thursday or Friday, send in those voicemails and we will include those. So until next time, we are the Rotoscopers. And Jafar even said, like, I want people to see the humanity in my husband. In my husband. In my uncle. Let me say that again. Well, is your party starting soon? You're all decked out. See, look, I'm Team USA, which I believe played yesterday, right?
They did,
like,
yes. And they won.
I'm wearing my USA shirt. And they won.
Crazy,
okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't following because I'm not, following the soccer.
It was like 4-1. It was crazy.
Who's Brazil playing today?
Monaco? No, okay. Morocco.
Morocco? You expecting any Morocco fans to show up to your party?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Yeah.
But I'm not even sure if they're going to be full on Brazil fans. That's okay. They're just my friends. So this is
just people who want to come and hang out.
This is the first time
You never need a reason.
Yeah, never need a reason, never need a rhyme. This is the first time having people over to my house, so it's kind of a big deal. I'm Miss Hostess.
Yay! Congratulations.
Thank you.
It goes so well. The hostess with the mostest.
Yes, I'm making Brazilian pizzas, one has beef stroganoff on top, and then the other one was a chocolate pizza, so chocolate and strawberry on a pizza dough.
Tasty.
With extra sugar.
Of course.
All right. So we'll have that, and of course the cheese bread. So you can't go wrong with Brazilian cheese bread.
Tasty. You've been listening to the Animation Addicts Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and be sure to leave us a 5-star review. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you want to help spread the word, be sure to share the podcast with your friends on social media. Just don't forget to tag us at Rotoscopers on Instagram and use the hashtag Animation Addicts. For all the links and full show notes for this episode, go to rotoscopers.com/podcast. Now, if you still can't get enough for your animation fix, be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube and visit rotoscopers.com for more animation news, reviews, and interviews. Thanks for listening.